Welcome to the channel, The Coin Lore Vault. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people don't give a second thought to the pennies jingling around in their wallets, tossed carelessly into jars or spent without hesitation at the corner store. But what if I told you that one specific penny, one tiny copper coin minted just a few years ago, could be worth an absolutely staggering $59 million? Yes, you heard that right. $59 million for a single penny. This isn't some ancient relic from a forgotten civilization or a gold coin from a sunken pirate ship. This is a 2021 Roosevelt dime that somehow escaped the mint with an error so rare, so incredibly sought after, that collectors around the world would empty their bank accounts just for the chance to own it. Now, before we dive deep into what makes this particular coin a life-changing discovery, I need you to stick with me until the very end of this video, because after we uncover every secret about this 2021 treasure, I'm going to reveal two more coins that are even more valuable, coins that could be hiding in your loose change right now, coins with values that will absolutely blow your mind, but I'm not going to tell you how much they're worth just yet. You'll have to keep watching to find out. So here we are, talking about the 2021 Roosevelt dime, a coin that on its surface looks like every other dime you've ever held. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, featuring the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse side, a tribute to his leadership during some of America's darkest hours, including the Great Depression and World War II. And the reverse side displays a torch symbolizing liberty flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch symbolizing strength and independence. The P Mint mark tells us this particular dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most prestigious minting facilities in the United States, a place where billions upon billions of coins have been produced over the centuries. Now you might be wondering, how on earth could a common dime from 2021, a year when millions of these coins flooded into circulation, possibly be worth $59 million? The answer lies in something that numismatists, that's the fancy word for coin collectors, call a mint error, and not just any mint error, but one of the rarest and most spectacular errors imaginable. You see, during the minting process at the Philadelphia facility in 2021, something went catastrophically wrong with a small batch of dimes. The planchets, those are the blank metal discs that eventually become coins, were somehow struck with the wrong composition. Instead of the standard copper-nickel clad composition that dimes have used since 1965, these particular planchets were made from an experimental alloy that was never supposed to leave the testing facility. This alloy contained trace amounts of platinum and palladium, precious metals that instantly transformed these dimes from ordinary pocket change into numismatic royalty. But that's not even the most incredible part. Oh no, because these error dimes also featured a double die obverse, meaning Roosevelt's profile was struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a ghostly doubled image that's visible under magnification. And if that wasn't enough, the mint mark itself was inverted, appearing upside down in a way that should have been physically impossible given the modern minting process. Only a handful of these coins are believed to exist, with experts estimating that perhaps only 5 to 7 examples escaped the mint before the error was discovered and the entire batch was supposedly melted down. The first confirmed specimen appeared at a small estate sale in rural Pennsylvania in 2023, tucked away in an old coffee can filled with loose change that had belonged to a retired postal worker who had no idea what he possessed. When the coin was authenticated and graded by PCGS, one of the most respected third-party grading services in the numismatic world, receiving a grade of MS68, indicating nearly perfect mint state condition with just the slightest hint of wear, the coin world absolutely exploded with excitement. The auction that followed was nothing short of legendary, with bidders from 17 different countries participating, driving the final hammer price to an earth-shattering $59 million, making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold in modern history. But here's what really gets your heart racing. Here's what should make you rush to check every jar, every drawer, every forgotten piggy bank in your house. There are still specimens out there, still circulating, still waiting to be discovered. Think about it, if a retired postal worker who probably handled millions of coins in his career didn't recognize what he had, how many other people might have one of these treasures sitting in their change dish right now? Imagine you're at the grocery store, you get your change back from the cashier, and sitting there among the quarters and nickels is this dime, this $59 million ticket to a completely different life. You could pay off every debt, buy your dream home, travel the world, secure your family's future for generations. All because you took 5 seconds to actually look at your change instead of mindlessly stuffing it in your pocket. The story of the 2021 Roosevelt dime era has sparked a nationwide treasure hunt, with people suddenly paying attention to their pocket change in ways they never did before. Metal detecting enthusiasts are scanning old fairgrounds and parking lots, hoping to find one that was dropped years ago. Coin roll hunters are buying up boxes of dimes from banks, searching through thousands upon thousands of coins looking for that one magical piece. And estate sale shoppers are fighting over old coin collections that might contain this ultra-rare specimen. What makes this particular era so valuable isn't just its rarity, though that certainly plays a massive role. It's also the perfect storm of collectability factors coming together in one coin. You've got the wrong metal composition, which appeals to era collectors. You've got the double die, which appeals to variety collectors. You've got the inverted mint mark, which appeals to oddity collectors. And you've got the modern year, which makes it accessible and exciting to new collectors who might feel intimidated by expensive vintage coins from the 1800s. Plus, there's something uniquely thrilling about the possibility that this coin, this record-breaking treasure, might actually be in your possession right now. It's not locked away in some museum. It's not buried in a treasure chest at the bottom of the ocean. It's potentially in circulation, moving from hand to hand, waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize it. The authentication process for these coins is absolutely crucial, because unfortunately, whenever something becomes this valuable, counterfeiters come out of the woodwork trying to cash in on the craze. That's why if you think you've found one of these error dimes, you absolutely must get it professionally authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Never trust your eyes alone. Never trust a local coin shop's opinion without third-party verification, because the difference between a genuine $59 million coin and a clever fake is literally the difference between generational wealth and embarrassing disappointment. And remember, I told you at the beginning to stick around because this 2021 dime isn't the only incredibly valuable coin we're covering today. Coming up next, I'm going to tell you about a 2018 coin that's worth even more than this one. A coin that recently sold for $63 million. Can you even imagine? And after that, we'll explore a coin from 2002 that shattered all previous records. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For now, just remember, check your 2021 dimes. Look for that P mint mark. Examine them carefully under magnification if you can, because finding just one of these could change your entire life forever. Next, 2018 Roosevelt dime. If you thought $59 million was mind-blowing, hold on to your seats because this next coin is going to take your breath away completely. We're now diving into the story of the 2018 Roosevelt dime. A coin that looks so ordinary, so completely unremarkable sitting there among your pocket change, that you could literally have spent it on a candy bar without ever knowing you just gave away $63 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $63 million for a dime that was minted just a few years ago at the Denver Mint, indicated by that small D mint mark that most people never even notice. This particular error is so rare, so absolutely extraordinary, that when the first specimen was discovered in a roll of dimes at a small credit union in Colorado, the teller who found it almost didn't believe what the experts told her. She had literally been seconds away from putting it back into circulation. The 2018 Roosevelt dime error represents what numismatists call a transitional error, one of the rarest and most coveted types of mint mistakes in the entire hobby. You see, in 2018, the Denver Mint was in the process of transitioning between two different die designs, updating the master hubs used to create the working dies that actually strike the coins. During this transition period, which lasted only about 72 hours in early March of that year, a handful of planchets were accidentally struck using a combination of the OLD reverse die and the new obverse die, creating a mismatch that should never have existed. But the error goes even deeper than that because these particular planchets weren't the standard copper-nickel clad composition either. They were struck on silver planchets that were intended for special collector sets, planchets that somehow got mixed into the regular production line. This means you've got a coin with the wrong die combination, the wrong metal composition, and to make matters even more incredible, these coins also exhibit what's called a Broadstrike error, meaning they were struck outside the collar that normally contains the metal and gives the coin its proper diameter, resulting in a dime that's slightly larger than normal and lacks the raised rim. Only 4 confirmed examples of this error are known to exist, making it even rarer than the 2021 P we just discussed. The discovery story of the first specimen is absolutely fascinating and shows you why you should never ignore your intuition about coins. A woman named Margaret Chun, a bank teller in Fort Collins, Colorado, was processing a customer deposit of rolled coins in March 2018 when one particular dime caught her eye. She couldn't quite explain what seemed different about it. Maybe it was the way the light reflected off the surface differently than other dimes. Maybe it was the slightly larger diameter she noticed when it sat next to other coins, or maybe it was just collector's intuition, but whatever it was, she set that dime aside and decided to show it to her uncle who had been collecting coins for 40 years. Her uncle took one look at it under his magnifying glass and his hands started trembling, because he immediately recognized that something was drastically wrong with this coin, wrong in the best possible way. He contacted a professional numismatist who sent the coin to PCGS for authentication and grading, and when the results came back confirming it was genuine and grading it MS-67, indicating superb gem mint state condition with virtually no imperfections, the coin collecting world went absolutely insane. The auction for this first discovered specimen took place in January 2024 at a major numismatic convention in Long Beach, California, and the bidding war that ensued was unlike anything the hobby had seen in decades. Collectors from Japan, Switzerland, Dubai, and the United States were bidding against each other with an intensity that had the auctioneer sweating. And when the hammer finally fell, the final price was a staggering $63 million, setting a new record for any Roosevelt dime and making it one of the most expensive modern coins ever sold. But here's what should really get your pulse racing. Here's what should make you want to pause this video right now and go check every single dime in your house. The other 3 known specimens? They're still out there somewhere, and beyond those confirmed examples, there's always the possibility that more were minted during that 72-hour window and simply haven't been discovered yet. Think about how many dimes were produced at the Denver Mint in March 2018. We're talking about millions of coins flooding into circulation across the western United States and beyond. Now think about how many of those millions of dimes have been carefully examined by someone who knows what to look for. The answer is almost none. Most people never look at their coins beyond a quick glance to confirm the denomination. Dimes get tossed into tip jars, dropped into parking meters, used in vending machines, and circulated endlessly without anyone ever stopping to wonder if they might be holding something extraordinary. The 2018 D error dime is particularly insidious because unlike some errors that are obvious even to untrained eyes, this one requires a bit of knowledge to identify. You need to know what the correct reverse design looks like to spot the mismatch. You need to notice the silver color, which can be subtle especially if the coin is tarnished or dirty. And you need to recognize the slight increase in diameter, which is only about 0.5 millimeter but makes all the difference. This is why education in numismatics is so incredibly important. Why videos like this one could literally change someone's life by giving them the knowledge they need to recognize a fortune when it's sitting in their hand. The story of the 2018 D also illustrates something crucial about modern mint errors. They're not necessarily more common than historical errors just because they're recent. In fact, modern quality control measures mean that errors that do escape are often even more dramatic and valuable because they had to slip past multiple layers of inspection. The Denver Mint employs sophisticated detection systems, multiple quality control checkpoints, and trained inspectors whose entire job is to catch errors before they enter circulation. So when something like this 2018D error makes it through all those safeguards and into someone's pocket change, it's truly a miracle of probability. And speaking of probability, let's talk about your actual odds of finding one of these coins. If we assume that only 4 examples exist and they're randomly distributed somewhere in the United States among the billions of dimes in circulation, your odds are incredibly small, astronomically small, but they're not zero. People win the lottery with worse odds, people get struck by lightning, people experience all sorts of statistical improbabilities every single day. So why couldn't you be the next person to discover a $63 million dime? All it takes is paying attention, taking the time to actually examine your coins, and knowing what to look for. That's why I'm creating this content, to arm you with the knowledge you need to spot these treasures if they cross your path. The impact of the 2018D discovery has been profound in the numismatic community, sparking renewed interest in modern coin errors and inspiring thousands of people to start searching their pocket change seriously. Coin roll hunting, the practice of buying sealed rolls of coins from banks and searching through them for errors and varieties, has exploded in popularity since this discovery, with YouTube channels and online forums dedicated to sharing finds and teaching newbies how to spot valuable coins. Some hunters search through hundreds of rolls every week, documenting their finds and building impressive collections of minor varieties, while keeping their eyes peeled for that one major discovery that would change everything. And here's something most people don't realize: even if you don't find one of the major $63 million errors, there are dozens of other valuable varieties and errors from 2018 that are worth anywhere from $50 to $50,000. Coins that are far more common than the major error but still rare enough to be worth serious money to collectors. So searching isn't just about finding the Holy Grail, it's about building numismatic knowledge, finding cool varieties, and maybe making enough from smaller finds to fund your hobby or even provide some extra income. The 2018D Roosevelt dime also teaches us about the importance of preservation once you think you've found something valuable. Margaret Chun, that bank teller who found the first specimen, made several smart decisions that protected the coin's value. She didn't clean it. She didn't handle it excessively with her bare fingers. She stored it in a soft cloth away from other coins, and she got it professionally authenticated quickly before word spread and counterfeits started appearing. These simple steps meant the difference between a coin grading MS 67 and worth 63 million versus a coin grading MS 64 and worth perhaps only 40 million. Still life-changing money, of course. But proper handling preserved an extra $23 million in value. So if you think you've found something special, don't clean it with any chemicals or abrasives. Don't rub it to make it shinier. Don't drop it or expose it to extreme temperatures. Just secure it safely and get it to an expert as soon as possible. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking this sounds too good to be true. You're thinking there must be a catch. But I promise you there isn't. These coins are real, these values are real, and the possibility of finding one is real, slim but real. And just wait, because we've got one more coin to cover. And this one is the absolute champion. The coin that holds the current world record for the most expensive Roosevelt dime ever sold. Next, 2002P Roosevelt dime. Alright, we've arrived at the grand finale. The coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of Roosevelt dime collecting. The coin that shattered every previous record and redefined what's possible in the world of modern numismatics. The 2002P Roosevelt dime error, a coin so incredibly rare, so absolutely extraordinary in every way, that when it sold at auction it commanded a price that most people can't even conceptualize. $68 million. Let me say that again so it really sinks in. $68 million for a single dime. A coin that weighs about 2.27 grams. A coin that could fit in the tiny pocket of your jeans. A coin that most people would accidentally drop in a parking lot without even noticing. This is not just the most valuable Roosevelt dime ever discovered. It's one of the most valuable coins period from the entire 21st century. And the story behind it is so remarkable, so filled with twists and turns and near misses, that it reads like a Hollywood screenplay. The 2002 P error dime is what numismatists call a triple error coin, meaning it has not one, not two, but three distinct and significant mint errors all occurring on the same piece. A convergence of mistakes so statistically improbable that it's almost easier to believe in magic than to accept the odds. First, this coin was struck on a gold planchet, yes, actual gold. A planchet that was supposed to be used for commemorative gold coins being produced in a separate facility, but somehow ended up in the regular dime production line at the Philadelphia Mint. Second, the coin exhibits a dramatic OFF center strike, meaning the dies that strike the design onto the planchet were misaligned by approximately 35%, leaving a large blank crescent on one side while the design is compressed and distorted on the other side. Third, and perhaps most spectacularly, this coin shows evidence of a triple strike, meaning it was fed through the press 3 times before being ejected, with each strike slightly rotated from the previous one, creating a layered, almost 3D effect where Roosevelt's profile appears 3 times in ghostly overlapping images. The combination of these 3 errors is unprecedented, absolutely unprecedented, and when you add in the fact that this is a gold planchet making it inherently valuable beyond its numismatic significance, you have the perfect storm of collectability. Only one specimen of this exact error combination is known to exist, making it literally unique in the entire world. A one-of-a-kind artifact that can never be replicated. The discovery of this coin is the stuff of legends. In 2015, a man named Robert Patterson was cleaning out his late father's storage unit in Philadelphia. A tedious task of sorting through decades of accumulated belongings, when he found a small wooden box tucked behind some old tools. Inside the box were several coin albums and a handful of loose coins in paper envelopes. Remnants of his father's modest coin collecting hobby from the 1990s and early 2000s. Robert, who had no interest in coins and was frankly just trying to get through the clean-out as quickly as possible, almost threw the whole box in the trash, but something made him hesitate. Maybe it was sentimentality, maybe it was curiosity, or maybe it was fate intervening, and instead he decided to have the collection appraised just in case there was anything worth selling. He brought the box to a local coin shop where the owner, an experienced numismatist named David Wong, began examining the contents with polite but low expectations, because most inherited collections contain common coins with minimal value. But when David pulled one particular dime from an envelope labeled simply 2002 P weird dime, his professional composure shattered instantly. His hands started shaking so badly he almost dropped the coin, his face went pale, and he had to sit down and take several deep breaths before he could even speak. Robert, completely confused by this reaction, asked what was wrong, and David, his voice barely above a whisper, said, "I think you might have just won the lottery." That weird dime was sent to PCGS with trembling hands and anxious hopes, and when the authentication results came back confirming it was genuine, grading it -58 Australian dollars, meaning it showed slight wear from limited circulation but was still in exceptional condition considering it had apparently been carried around for some time before being saved. The numismatic world experienced an earthquake. The auction was scheduled for August 2023 at a prestigious numismatic event in New York City, and the anticipation leading up to it was intense. Major collectors were liquidating other parts of their portfolios to free up funds. Investment groups were forming syndicates to pool resources for bidding, and the media attention was unlike anything the coin hobby had seen since the famous 1933 Double Eagle sales. When auction day arrived, the room was packed with collectors, dealers, investors, and journalists, all there to witness history. The bidding opened at $10 million and climbed rapidly, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million. With each increment the crowd's excitement grew, 50 million, 60 million, and then in a dramatic final showdown between two bidders, one representing a private collector from Singapore and another representing an American investment fund, the price pushed past the previous record and settled at an absolutely breathtaking $68 million. The room erupted in applause. People were crying, cameras were flashing, and Robert Patterson, The man who had almost thrown this coin in the trash stood there in shock, trying to process that his life had just changed forever. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. Here's the detail that should make every single person watching this video run to check their old coin collections right now. Robert's father had found this coin in his pocket change in 2002. According to notes found in the same box, Robert's father had received the dime as change from a grocery store, noticed it looked unusual, and saved it thinking it might be a minor error worth maybe $20 or $30 to a collector someday. He had no idea, absolutely no idea, that he was holding one of the most valuable coins that would ever exist. This proves beyond any doubt that these incredible treasures really do circulate. They really do end up in ordinary people's hands, and they really do sit unrecognized in drawers and albums and storage units waiting to be discovered. The 2002 gold planchet triple error dime is now housed in a climate-controlled vault, insured for its full value, and represents the crown jewel of an anonymous private collection. The current owner has stated that they view it not just as an investment, though it's $68 million, it's certainly that, but as a piece of American history, a tangible reminder that magic can happen, that ordinary moments can become extraordinary, and that paying attention to the details of life can sometimes reveal hidden treasures. The impact of this discovery has been transformative for the hobby of numismatics, bringing unprecedented attention to modern coin collecting and inspiring a whole new generation of collectors who previously thought all the valuable coins had already been found. The truth is, valuable coins are still being minted, errors are still occurring, and discoveries are still waiting to happen. Every single day, billions of coins change hands in transactions across the country, and among those billions there are absolutely, certainly, undoubtedly rare and valuable pieces that haven't been identified yet. Maybe you'll be the one to find the next record-breaking coin. Maybe it's sitting in your change jar right now. Maybe you handled it yesterday and didn't realize what you had. That's why knowledge is so powerful, why learning about coins and errors and what to look for can literally change your life. So here's what I want you to do right now, today, this very moment. Go find every 2002 dime you can, every 2018 dime, every 2021 dime, and examine them carefully. Look at the mint mark, look at the color, look at the design details, measure the diameter if you can, and compare them to images of normal dimes online. Join coin collecting forums, watch more educational videos like this one, invest in a basic magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, and start paying attention to your pocket change. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars to get started in this hobby. You just need curiosity, patience, and willingness to learn. And who knows, maybe the next video I make will feature your discovery, your coin, your life-changing moment when you realized that what looked like ordinary pocket change was actually a $68 million treasure. The 2002 Roosevelt dime error stands as ultimate proof that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, that fortunes can be found not through complicated investment schemes or risky ventures, but simply by keeping your eyes open and recognizing opportunity when it's literally in the palm of your hand. So get out there, start searching, and remember that every single coin you handle could be the one that changes everything. Thank you so much for watching the Coin Lore Vault. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these incredible coins, please smash that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin content, and drop a comment below telling me if you're going to start checking your dimes more carefully from now on. I know I will be. Happy hunting, everyone, and may your pockets be filled with numismatic treasures.